Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Have you ever waited for something with great anticipation? Not just wishing for it, but knowing with certainty that it would come. When I awaited the birth of my children, I suppose that intensity of anticipation is a good example of what I'm talking about. All those months of hoping and praying, then finally realizing I had a child living and growing inside of me. As the due date approached, I began to comprehend. This was it. This would begin a whole new life for me in ways that I could not even understand at that moment. All through the Old Testament, God had promised to send a Messiah who would save His people. Old Testament men and women looked forward to this, but didn't get to see it. I imagine some had given up by Jesus' day. But we know others had not. One of those is one of my favorite characters, Nathanael, also called Bartholomew. When Jesus called his friend Philip to follow him, he didn't immediately up and follow him like James and John had done. When Jesus said, "Follow me," Philip must have said something like, "Can you wait right there? I've got a friend I want you to meet." And he ran to tell Nathanael. Apparently, Philip had to search for Nathanael and found him probably praying under a fig tree. I have a fig tree in my backyard. If someone sat under it, I don't know that I would know it, so I can see why Philip had problems finding him. We know Nathanael lived in anticipation of the Messiah because of what Philip said next. He said, "We found him whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, son of Joseph." Perhaps Philip and Nathanael had had long discussions about what the Messiah would be like. They must have studied the scriptures together, reading and savoring each prophecy so they would know him when he came. One way or the other, they both lived in anticipation of his coming. We don't know what convinced Philip that Jesus was the Messiah, but Nathanael immediately expressed his skepticism. Yes, he'd been studying about the coming of the Messiah, and yes, his heart was greatly anticipating his arrival, but he knew that the Messiah was supposed to be born in Bethlehem, not Nazareth. Definitely not Nazareth. Nazareth was a podunk spot in the road. The prophecies of the Old Testament said nothing about Nazareth. The Messiah would not come from Galilee, let alone such a despised little nothing of a town like Nazareth. Philip probably grinned as he issued the challenge, "Come and see." Nathanael, still skeptical, followed his friend and found that Jesus met all the criteria for the Messiah. From the first conversation, Nathanael knew. He declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Now, how did Nathanael go from skepticism to such certainty so quickly? Because he had studied and he knew the prophecies, but also he had prepared his heart. He lived in anticipation. Do we live in anticipation? Do we just go along with life and take what comes? Or are we anxiously waiting and looking to see Jesus in our everyday lives? Do we expect him to show up? And when he does, do we recognize him?
As always, we'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to share a treasure, support this ministry, or get Carla to speak at an event, please contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.